Hello everybody, my name is Fyodor and welcome to my reaction to Odd Taxi Season 1 Episode 5. Last time on we had, much focus on Tanaka, his childhood story, his descent into gambling, and his newfound goal of apparently murdering Orukawa. But I don't really expect this episode to dive into this much further, at least at this point, because, the show deviated a lot when they brought on the last episode from its usual storytelling, and I don't think that's gonna continue. And we are basically gonna follow either Urukawa on his, I guess, quest to find Goriki again, because that one's missing, or Kakihana and his date are gonna be more in focus. As always, if you want to support me, you can like, comment, subscribe, or share this video. These are generally the best things that you can do for me for free. And otherwise, there's my Patreon, where you can get things like early access to non-live reaction shows like Odd Taxi, and full-length reactions. And with all that out of the way, let's get into this. Follow the link in the description, and I'll see you there. Alright then, what an interesting episode and kind of confusing for me, to the point where I actually had to check twice in the middle of the episode whether I was watching the right one, and I did skip one because there was a lot of stuff they didn't touch on that I thought they would, and a lot of stuff they skipped, like, Goriki reappeared, and I don't know how much time passed or how he went missing, or if it was just that Shirakawa couldn't get into contact with Goriki because he was closing down the clinic or something like that. So yeah, pretty confusing, but I've collected my thoughts, and this is actually the first time I'm not even gonna try to get through the episode chronologically or something like that. So I'm just gonna start with the topic that I find the most interesting, which was Shiho and Kagi's date. Presumably not the first one, and not the one that they were followed by the manager and Polar Bear. And yeah, at a expensive restaurant, we later found out that Kakihana actually took out a loan to pay for that. And that's not good, getting into debt for a scam that you are doing. And yeah, I don't know what he thinks he's gonna get out of that, because this episode made it pretty clear with, the comment of it's getting hard to talk to these old people in the taxi with the manager, where, he cut her off. And things like when Kakihana said that he isn't that rich, she immediately lost interest. I think it was when she asked about the chat or something like that. So yeah, and her talk about getting married as soon as possible. A lot of arrows point in the direction that she just wants his money, his non-existent money. But yeah, she doesn't know that, and he doesn't know that she's just into his money. And I feel bad for both of them, and at the same time I don't, because both of them are scamming each other. It's hard. It's a hard situation, in my opinion, because what the fuck? While on the date, we actually got some information. We saw that Imai is actually rich because of the lottery numbers that Orukawa gave him. I think the number was 1 billion yen, so $10 million, that's a fuckload of money. So he's definitely gonna chase after Rui now, in hopefully a good way for him, and not a stalkery weird way. Then we also saw the guy whose name I immediately forgot after he told us multiple times in the video, the Blue Hippo, his declaration of war against Dobu, and he's gonna catch him, and he's gonna put searching for a job on pause and his studies on pause until he does, because justice or whatever reason he spouted for views on the internet, and people are actually taking him seriously from the comments So, he got that going for him. But yeah, the manager and Shio had a talk about her talent and what she's good at. And maybe Shio is just looking for an out by, marrying a rich guy. So looking for an out of the idol group to sustain herself without putting in that much work, so to say. But anyway, very interesting dive into Shiho and Kaki State there. I liked it. A lot of comedy there. And so on. But yeah, before that we had Mitsuya, a black cat, in the taxi. And when she got picked up, she apparently took the phone from Tanaka and put it in Odokawa's taxi. So he's in some connection with Mitsuya. I don't know if it was just a, hey, you there, you're gonna get in that taxi and put the place there, or if they have a previous relationship. And yeah, we see Tanaka a few times during the episode with his taxi following Odokawa's, and then him at Odokawa's house, but we see the next day, or in the middle of the night at the clinic, and Odokawa actually got away from Tanaka. Or Tanaka is still laying low. Maybe he's planning out more how he's gonna pull it off to kill Odokawa, or at least threaten him with the gun, so he's not immediately busted. That was one of the things that was very confusing to me, because, he was at his house in the night and then the story continued without him doing anything. Later on, though, the manager actually asked about the dashcam footage, which I didn't think would be the first person to ask for it. I know that he knew of Odokawa, but apparently he's in connection or in a relationship, some kind of relationship with Yano, according to Dobu. That could be the case. And especially since the claim of Mitsuya being the missing person got, I think at the beginning of the episode, actually refuted, and then more weight was put on that theory, so I'm actually back on this theory again. And yeah, I will continue to stand by that Mitsuya is the missing girl and Don's daughter and whoever it is. Which begs the question, since, Odokawa didn't know her, and there's no way that she's the person in his apartment, if there is a person at all. I mean, he could just be talking to himself. He has like psychedelic drugs to help with his insomnia in some way, and maybe he's imagining people, or imagining that there was someone at his house and he just talked out loud to himself. And of course we actually got an angry Odokawa when the topic of Shirakawa was brought up at Goriki's place first, and he got more angry when he was with Dobu, because Dobu admitted that Shirakawa is selling the drugs she's stealing at Goriki's to him as repayment for her loan that she took out and apparently Dobu paid for. And yeah, that got Odokawa really riled up, since, Dobu actually threatened Shirakawa, although he is in kind of an agreement with her, but at least he didn't put her on Odokawa to get closer to him, or at least he denied it, so to say. But yeah, Dobu admitted to losing something that the boss gave him, which I think is the gun, and he didn't find it for the meeting for Odokawa again, because he would have come armed again, I'd say. But since Tanaka found that gun and took it with him, that's that. And he can tell his boss about multiple things now. About him having the dashcam footage and all the other stuff. Which, now that I think about it, having the dashcam footage, Dobu actually knows who the missing person is. And yeah, he could figure it out if he ever saw Mitsuya's face. Or something like that. So he's actually next to Odokawa, who has apparently trouble remembering the faces of idol girls, because they all look the same to him. At least he said so. So yeah, I'm really interested in what Dobu is gonna do about all of this. and when we get to meet Yano for the first time. Yeah, one of the facts, or a fact I kept closing over, was Goriki is closing down for the time, because he'd be in big trouble if he was found out, if one of his members or employees was actually stealing medicine. And the blame that Odokawa put on Shirakawa doesn't seem to be enough in his eyes, so he can't cut her off cleanly, or in some cases he probably doesn't even want to, since he likes her, probably enjoys working with her and so on. But yeah, I'm kind of sad that he has to take that away for him. And I think that was all that I wanted to talk about it. So yeah, Tanaka is still on the chase. The dates, multiple now, between Kagihana and Shiho seem to be on a track. Doesn't mean a good track, but some kind of track at least. And Odokawa seems to be involved in more and more interesting and dangerous situations nowadays. So yeah, I'm really excited to see that happen and to watch the next episode. Once again, as always, if you want to support me, you can like, comment, subscribe, or share this video. These are generally the best things that you can do for me for free. And otherwise, there's my Patreon, where you can get things like early access to Odd Taxi 1 week into the future, which means usually 3 episodes. And of course, full-length videos to all of my reactions, where I can put up your own episode and let my reaction play on the side if you want to. So if you enjoyed it, check that out. And I'll see you next episode. Until then, bye bye.